thesis. I give them this and I say, you want to follow this. Of course, you're going to be working with your advisor, but you're going to want to follow this or consult this as you are working on your prospectus and as you are doing your literature review for that thesis. Now I'm going to give the complete article to your instructor here. It's an article that's entitled Scholars Before Researchers on the Centrality of the Dissertation Literature Review and Research Preparation by Booty and Bill. But I think when I look at the honors theses that I assist with when people are doing their lit reviews, I think that you can take a look at this and see how you can put it to use. In answering some of the questions that you folks have raised, I would say rubrics are important and they are helpful because it gives you an idea of what you need to be doing. You can use that rubric to consult with the faculty member. If you were getting your honors thesis ready, you were working on it, you were writing, you were doing the research, and you took that rubric in and asked your faculty advisor what you could do to adapt this, or how does he or she want you to use this, I think that they would be quite impressed that you found this rubric, and they would discuss with you how helpful it would be. Is any rubric perfect? No, nothing's ever perfect. People aren't perfect. But I would say, in answer to one question, there was one question on aren't rubrics at the end of the day somewhat subjective? And I would say yes, they can be, but basically as human beings we're not going to eliminate subjectivity, and even when you're being graded there's subjectivity. And I've read where, well, and even in the introduction to this one rubric, they talk about using a portfolio to evaluate students, or even evaluate employees. I would argue that you could use that if they were involved in certain activities. And with that portfolio, you can eliminate some of the subjectivity. I would argue that you could eliminate some of the subjectivity because you are having to look at the totality of the person, and in looking at the totality of the person, you're looking at them over a period of time, and it's not just a snapshot. I would also argue that when faculty give you an assignment and they're telling you, this is what I expect, they are in some ways presenting you with a rubric, because if they're telling you, okay, I expect you to use the APA style, you could go across and put in some of these columns just what you were expecting. You know, you could label the top and indicate just what you were expecting, so that if I told you that I expected you to use Times Roman 12 font, if I expected you to use headings, if I expected you to be able to use the APA style well, I could go in and judge how well you were doing those things. And I would be doing you a service by telling you exactly what I expect, so that when your teacher is going to do her dissertation, she's going to have a dissertation template. She is also going to be working with a faculty group and writing a prospectus, and then expanding that out into a dissertation. I would argue that the thesis template, and then the faculty are a form of a rubric. And at the end, if you haven't done it very well, you're not going to pass. Now you're smiling. Would you agree with that?
That's pretty accurate.
Okay, so there you go.
But I'm going to do it really well, and I am going to pass.
Okay, so you see that? But you would agree that it is a form of a rubric.
Yes.
And the dissertation is the final culmination of the individual's work. And you could say, well, you got a portfolio there. First, you've got all the coursework this instructor has taken. Then you have comprehensive exams. Then you have the prospectus. Then you have the dissertation. And you can talk about movement all along the line, because at any one of those levels you could stumble and fall. And I think at the undergraduate level that is true as well. And what you folks have done is you've added honors college to what you're doing. You have added the honors thesis to what you're doing. That's all part of your portfolio, just like your instructor. Creativity, I like the question on creativity. There's a whole literature on creativity, and you could read that whole literature and take a look at what they say there. But I thought you folks were very thoughtful and had some very good questions. I'm going to talk about what you can do beyond EBSCOhost and JSTOR. The one question that was posed by Leah, I am a librarian, so I tend to use library sites. I tend to use the resources that I recommend for purchase for you folks. I go to Google Scholar when I'm having a hard time finding something, and I'll see if it's appeared in Google Scholar, and then I go, oh, okay, if it's there, then I figure out where I might find it in the library resources, or why I didn't find it and what I need to do next. But I don't go to Google Scholar first. When I go to the web and I go to Google to find something, it's usually when I have been given a document. Somebody wants a document and it's coming out of a foundation, it's coming out of an educational organization. I might look at ERIC first, and if I don't find it in ERIC, then I might go on Google and take a look at it. I'm very cautious in using the web. I'm always out looking for bias. There are certain sites that are going to be biased based on their philosophical point of view, their worldview, and you have to be aware of that. And if you were writing a political science paper and you were going to write a report on the Tea Party, for instance, then you would need to be aware of their bias and go out and pull up those Tea Party sites and handle the assignment that you were supposed to handle, whether it's to explain what their latest positions are on issues or that sort of thing. The same thing would be for an educational foundation, an organization. You never take off your blinders, so to speak. Your blinders being, okay, and I shouldn't call them blinders, maybe your glasses, and you're looking at the bias. Always, what is the bias here? So that you can be more accurate in your reporting, so that you aren't caught off guard with what you may turn in. You may turn something in, and a faculty member may say to you, oh, bias, what's wrong here? So you want to be careful with that. Let's see, what other question? Evaluating web pages. What are the cons, pros and cons? I thought that was a good question coming from, is it Madely Garcia? Madely Garcia. I thought that was an excellent question. Of course, I would argue that if it's educational research, I would go to the databases first, depending upon the assignment. If you were expected to go out on the web and find something from the National Education Association or the Council on Disabilities or Disability Research, whatever it was, if you were going out there and checking that, then of course, again, look at the bias, but I use the web only if I need to, or only if the assignment directs me to. Otherwise, and I'm talking about the open web, otherwise I will use the resources that we as librarians evaluate. So those are very good questions. I was impressed to see that a lot of you felt that that you had received some of this information in previous classes, either in high school or here at the university. Is that right? That you felt that you had been asked to exercise your judgment with this and to use it. So I was impressed with that, but there's no reason not to get a reminder. I would hope that a rubric would only be one tool for you, that you never let a rubric confine your thinking, that you think beyond the rubric, but always think as a rubric as a guidepost. Now, if you stray too far outside of the guidepost, if you don't fulfill everything that rubric requests of you, say as assignment, if you don't do that, then you can end up getting into trouble. But I wouldn't say that it wouldn't encourage you to think outside the box. What it does is say, do all these things, and then if you do more, that's great. So use it as a guide. Don't use it as an end-all and be-all. And as far as faculty using rubrics, I think it depends upon the faculty member. I think that there is encouragement for faculty to use rubrics. Would you not agree with that?
Yeah.
That there is encouragement, but of course there is academic freedom, and faculty can run their classes as they see fit. I know that there are certain disciplines where they are now taking a look from grade level to grade level, what they expect students to know, and they're putting together courses as a faculty, courses that help students reach those goals. So things are changing in specific departments around campus, and you know, from my perspective, I think the College of Education has always been on the forefront. If for no other reason than they're always being pushed by state and federal law to do more and to do things differently. Would you like to add to that?
No, I think you're doing a great job.
Okay, you agree with that. Okay, so
I always like when I get a rubric. And I always get a better grade.
you get a better grade. You see that?
Because you can go in and be like, okay, I did that. It's not so much a surprise at the end.
Right.
That said, I don't ever give you guys rubrics.
So now you can push her to give you a rubric. What assignment do you have for her for the end of the semester? Are they doing a lit review for you?
No, they have to write their proposal, prospectus, whatever.
Well, the prospectus, chapter 2 is the lit review.
But not like, just like what they're thinking of doing.
Oh, just what they're thinking of doing, so they don't have to get into the literature.
No literature.
Okay, but if you did a rubric where would you expect them to be along this rubric? And you could use this type of rubric here to write your own rubric for them. You're asking them in essence to write a proposal, a prospectus, right?
Well, just like it's more of a blurb, a 1 to 2 page thing.
Okay.
About where they are, because we have someone who's graduating in the fall, and then you're a sophomore, right?
Yeah.
So
they're different
they're
levels.
like this.
Yes, they're different levels.
But it would be a good idea.
I would still suggest that they probably would feel more comfortable if you did that. Is that pressure? Am I pressuring her? Okay. How many of you use this website on a regular basis? 1 person, 2 people? Some? Every once in a while? Okay. Where are you mostly going to do your work? Are you mostly going to Google Scholar and Google? Now, I know someone in this class is using JSTOR and EBSCOhost.
I do.
You do? Okay. Anybody else using anything else? Yes?
The same ones, and also the database on this site.
Yeah.
Okay. How many of you like Smart Search? You like Smart Search?
I hate
Why do you
Smart
like
Search.
Smart Search?
It's terrible.
Some-
I hate it.
Okay, and I don't particularly like it either, but they like it. So we're going to ask them to tell us why they like it. Why do you like it? Now, I do use it some, and I'll explain to you why I use it, and then you can reformulate your thinking if you like, or maybe what I have to say will reinforce your thinking. But why do you like Smart Search? There are no correct answers here. This is creative. Your research, the way you go about learning is creative. And it can be very unique to you. You may share some techniques with other people, but what you may do on your own may be very unique to you. So why do you like Smart Search?
Well, it's supposed to be faster, but
Faster?
find stuff to find certain articles.
Okay. What else? Why would anybody else like it?
No, we both said that we hate it.
I mean, let me
It's convenient. It's
Yeah,
on the
it's
page.
convenient.
Yes. It's convenient. If I do a general Google search, look how many records I get. What does that remind you of? 3 million records. It's like a Google search, only it's in databases that are approved by the library system, and you get peer-reviewed, you get full text, it tells you if there are new publications. You can refine it by type. It gives you a wide variety of options here so that you can limit by certain types here. So you can get down to that if you want to, down to that level. If you go down the page, you can even limit it by collection. And it tells you what collections that we own, big databases that we own, that it's searching through. Look at all those databases it's searching through. A lot of databases, and you can limit by that if you want to. So we could say, well, we want peer-reviewed, so we could limit by peer-reviewed. Then we can go down and say, well, we want depression as a mood disorder. So we've limited even more, and then we can go down and say that we want things after 2004. Let's see how many materials we get. We still get 25,000 records. So you can refine it. The thing that I don't like about it is that it doesn't necessarily have the best databases here, and it doesn't necessarily, it might take you forever to find the best researcher. But it's a good place to start. It gives you an idea of where to start, because what if you decided, well, you wanted to go to Science Direct? Then you could go to Science Direct and you've got 7,200 records. And Science Direct really has some of the best journals in the area. So I personally would not go there first, but I can understand why you do. And I think it's okay if you want to start there. If you get too many records, if you cannot be precise enough, then because you can limit here if you want, and if you can't get precise enough, I would encourage you to go to disciplinary subject databases. Now, how many of you have used the InfoHawk catalog?
How'd you get there?
I was back here and I clicked on InfoHawk catalog. This is a standard catalog, so that if you're in Smart Search, you can get all kinds of resources in Smart Search. Books, book chapters, government documents, you can get journal articles. You saw the whole array when I brought up the box that let me decide how I wanted to limit things. Here, you're searching for books, you're searching for databases, you're searching for specific titles of journals, but you are not drilling down to more specific items, like journal articles, like chapters in books. So you would go here if you were looking specifically for a book, or if you were specifically looking for a government document, or if you knew a title of a map that they had in the map collection and you knew that it was cataloged, you could go there. If you had forgotten the title of a journal but you remembered part of the title of the journal, you could go there. So usually when I am searching, I know what I am looking for, so I will go to the InfoHawk catalog and I will go to the major databases that we have chosen for your use. What some of you are saying to me is you feel very comfortable going to Smart Search and then moving beyond Smart Search if you need to do that. Two different strategies. Both of them are equally viable depending upon what you're looking for and what you prefer to do, what your learning style is, what your work style is. So it's okay. And I even have library colleagues who don't use this InfoHawk catalog unless they have to. Questions or comments? Now, here on this page, you can go to general databases. And these are general databases that get used a lot. EBSCOhost is here. Why do you like EBSCOhost?
I used it in high school actually, so
Okay.
I'm just used to it.
Okay, you're used to it. But what's a major feature of it that makes it very attractive? Remember? It has a wide variety of databases. It has it has a wide variety of databases, and if you wanted to, you could search all these databases. It has everything from education to nursing to art to music. It has sociology and social work related items. Sociological abstracts is on the ProQuest platform, but EBSCOhost is actually a platform. It even has business databases. It has newspapers. So it's a good place to start. And actually more than start. It has economics here. So if you were in specific fields, it would be very good to use that. And you can click and search every one of those databases. Or you can go down and check off just the ones that you want to search. So it's a big, big platform with lots of databases that librarians and information professionals like, because it has all of the major works in those fields. So it has all the major works in music, and the music index is there. It has all the major works in art, and the art index is there. The same thing with education. And then if you go down here, you'll see we recommend using Google Scholar from our web pages. How many of you are using Google Scholar on a regular basis? Anybody? Okay. If you use Google Scholar and you go in through our platform here, our server, what it does is it links so that if you go in here, here's your info link. You'll find it here. Sometimes you find it down here. But here's your info link. And you can go right to the article. And abstract full text, and then you pull up what you want. So I like to use Google Scholar when I use it. Here's a government document. It says you can go here to get it, but it also says Pathway to Care. There's your government document. So there were 2 ways to get that government document there. So I like it for that reason if I'm going to use it. But look how many records you get. 2.5 million records. So that's a lot. That's an awful lot to be looking at. So, questions about that? These are the like I said, I'm pulling this stuff out of the general databases. How many of you have used Sage eReference to look up definitions, to get a brief summary about something? Sage eReference is excellent because it will describe something for you. I mean, a lot of you will go to Wikipedia, right? But you can go here and you can look up and here's information on depression, and then you can read through this, and at the very end it gives you some good articles to take a look at. So I've worked with some graduate students, and
How would I cite that if I sent it to
You like it?
that body?
Pardon me?
If I wanted to use it in my paper, how would I cite it?
You can actually move it over to a citation management tool, and you would actually, here's all the information you're going to need right here, but you can get it all the way down to the DOI of the article. And so what I would do is I would export it. I would export the article into my citation management tool, and then go ahead and cite it. But all the information you need to cite is right here.
So I would just cite it as if it were, as if I had the book or the article in front of me.
Right, except that you would use the DOI.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd use the DOI for the chapter. This is like a chapter, so you would use the DOI for like a chapter in a book. That's how you would do it. So I like this, and I actually have a lot of graduate students who go in and use this to help them set up their definitions in their chapter 1. Yes?
So you know the link that whenever it says like export citation, is that always accurate? Like if you go, like, you know
That's
what I mean?
another good question.
That link.
When you, and you're talking about
It was like on
Sage,
that one.
yes. It depends. You've got to look at your citation management tool.
Uh-huh.
When these things get exported, I use APA.
Mhm.
So what I do is I export it and then I pretend like I'm going to print it, because you have that option in all of these citation management tools. And I'll take a look at it, and I always have my APA publication manual right there with me.
And you see what's missing.
And if it doesn't look right, then you can edit the record, and I go in and I put the section of the record that's not right in where it belongs. Because the record is broken down into author, title, editor if it's an edited book, all of that. And sometimes those things can be out of place. And you have to be very careful with that. Google Scholar is really bad with that. I have gone in and cleaned up records for graduate students who are going to make presentations at conferences, and they've got their posters ready, and they've got to have either a bibliography on the side of the poster, or they've got to have a bibliography to hand out, and the records are a mess. Google Scholar is pulling in those records from everywhere, and they're just a mess, and I go in and clean them up. If you're pulling in from one of these other databases, if you're pulling them in from EBSCOhost, PsycInfo, some of those databases in from here, Sage eReference, they're not as messed up. But you need to check them so that if there's something out of place, you can fix it. That's an excellent question. We are now moving to Endnote. Have any of you used the citation management tool? You have used, and you have used RefWorks?
I don't think that's what it called. I can't remember what it's
Do
called.
you use Endnote?
No.
Okay. There are some free ones out there on the web. You have to be very, very careful with them, that they enable you to cite the way you need to cite. So I have the APA publication manual. I look things up all the time, compare. I also have a lot of people who use the Chicago Style Manual, which I don't like as well, but when I need to help out with the Chicago Style Manual, I have that. Okay? So here are materials that they expect you to use on a regular basis as undergraduates. They're there under those general databases. Here are the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of databases we have in the database A to Z list. Now, if you're working with a librarian and it's not in that general database list, the librarian will take you here and then show you what it is that you need to be looking at. If you're looking for an electronic journal, how many of you have used this electronic journals list? Okay. I use it all of the time because I'm always looking things up for graduate students and faculty, sometimes undergraduate students, because the undergraduate students who write to me are looking at certain citations and they think they can't find them, and they say, do you know where it is? I can either click on the title here, or I can click on the info link button, and I can get there. I will usually go to Springer link. I'll look at Springer first before I go back to a database. Springer is the provider, and then I'll go down and I'll look, and you'll see that this one goes all the way back to volume 1. So if I wanted something from volume 1 and I had the citation, I could go in and I can say get access. It's telling me to buy now. I've got to find out what's wrong with that. I have to find out what's wrong with that. Let's see if I have, let's see what happens up here. So, if you get this possible access, buy now, don't buy now, ask the librarians what's going on. So I have to make a mental note and look at Journal of Abnormal Child Psychology, because what happens is those links get broken. Sometimes the publisher doesn't think that we have paid our subscription, and we have, so we have to check on it. Sometimes the server has gone down somewhere, either on our end or the publisher's end, and we have to check on that, so we're not recognized because the server is down. So I will have to look into that. So that was a good problem to run into. At any rate, I will get that reported, and I will get that checked into, because we should have a subscription to that. Let me look at another one here. Let's look at this one. let's see if we have problems with this one. APA. APA Psych Articles is just, it's coming from the American Psychological Association. It's really good. It always pulls up the latest ones, but you can go in and check other volumes. You can get full text or HTML, and you just click on what you want. And so it pulls that up. So I would encourage you to, how many of you are on a regular basis using these electronic journals? Is everybody doing it? Or you're not in classes where you're being required to do it? You're not in classes where you're being required to do it? Well, when you are writing, a major paper, you will have to use these electronic journals, and you will love them because you can pull everything up from wherever you are. So you've got your device with you, and if your device is wireless, so long as you're in an environment that allows you to get onto a network and you're logged onto your computer, you will be asked to log on with your Hawk ID and password, and then you should get access to these. So that's something else. These are ebook collections. I usually look for the ebooks either through the InfoHawk catalog or through Smart Search, but there are people who actually like to use the ebook collections, and this gives you an idea of all the ebooks we have. It's phenomenal. And for instance, I am the subject specialist for education and psychology. I do not buy paper unless I have to now. I only buy books in electronic format because people who are coming from a distance, we have students from halfway around the world taking some of these classes that we teach. They don't have to worry about getting access if we have it available electronically. So I would encourage you to use those. Then, if you go up here to find resources and you go to resources by type, this gives you an idea of where you can find things. Funding and research, job resources, ebook collections, dissertations. But you can also go to resources by subject. And for instance, psychology is here and education is here. And if you click on one of those, then you get to my webpage. And on my webpage, I have everything that I recommend people should be using for education and psychology. So the databases are here. These are psychology specific. If you were using, or if you were, I should say, if you were doing a paper on a topic that was very psychologically oriented, I mean, you could be taking a school psych class. You could be taking a voc rehab class, something like that. Yeah.
I was just looking, how do you sign in so you can use Endnote or RefWorks? Because I was just looking at that and I couldn't sign in.
You would go up here.
Yeah.
There's RefWorks. If you don't have an account, you can sign up. Here you go Endnote. Now, for those of you who are graduating, RefWorks is going to go away at the end of this December. For those of you who are going to be around a little longer because you're younger students, you are going to want to sign up for an Endnote account. And I have an Endnote account. Okay, here is my Endnote account. I have 82 references, and they are split between these particular folders that I have created. You notice I have a lot on veterans. I have fewer in others. But what I can do is I can go up here in format, and I can go to bibliography. I can select the references. Say I want Clark Eating. I have set up my favorites, and these are the ones I use all the time. And I tend to use APA 6th. And then file format, I'm going to put it in RTF. And then I'm going to preview. And then it's going to tell me to do it again. So I'll do it again so I can show you how easy it is. Let me say save, and let's see if it'll bring up. Okay, I'm going to open it. There it is. Okay, I'm going to say use recommended settings. Get out of that. This needs to be updated, but someone here needs to take care of that. So here you are. I can enable editing. I see that it already put it in Times Roman 12. I can go up here and add references. I can put that in the middle. I can select all. I can double space it. And then I can use my APA manual if I don't know the style well, or even if I do, sometimes I want to check something. And I can go through and fix it up. Now, sometimes it doesn't put the periods in the right place, or it puts a period where it shouldn't be a period, and you will want to fix that if that's the case. You can see where I have a DOI. Now here's one where it's got a double colon. You're only supposed to have one colon, so I'm going to get rid of that. Then I'm going to go down, and I'll just check everything. You'll have to get rid of the issue number. If it's continuous pagination in APA, you will use the issue number. You'll get rid of it, rather. If it's not continuous pagination, then you have to leave the issue number in. That's one of those little stylistic issues related to APA that you need to know. You'll see here, I don't have a DOI. If there's a DOI available, whether I have looked at it in paper or whether I've looked at it electronically, I will put the DOI in. This one had no DOI, so you see no DOI, and I also happen to see that one in paper. So you can go through and quickly just fix these things, and then if you want, you can go up and save it, and then you can email it to your faculty member, or put it at the end of your paper. Is that easy, or is that easy? And when you're done, you can log out. If you want help with that, we are most willing to help you with that. Teach it. There will be some classes in the fall. You may want to take those one of those classes in the fall where we are teaching you how to use it. So that's an excellent question. I am helping graduate students now who want help moving from RefWorks to Endnote because they're going to be here a little while longer, and they don't want to lose all of their folders and all the references in their folders at the end of December. So for those of you who may just be starting out, that's a good thing. But here, I have all the databases that I think you should use. The nice thing about a lot of these databases is you don't have to use subject headings if you don't want to. You can just put keywords and key phrases in there and search them just like you would search Google. I like EBSCOhost. PubMed is the medical. ProQuest Dissertations not only has dissertations, but has sociological abstracts and a couple of other databases that I like. I like, obviously, all of the APA things. The one thing you should know about my site, if you choose to use it, I've got all this APA style assistance here. So it's one of the tabs that I have up where I provide the APA assistance. questions. You probably have to go pretty quick for,
Because they have next class.
yeah.
This is, you go by Dottie, right?
I go by the name Donnie. That I always answer by. And if you get here, you can always find how to reach me. You can send me an email. Most of the time, I'm going to be at 335-5232. If you want me, most people email me and ask me questions. If they want to set up an appointment, set up an appointment. I actually do searching for people, and I can send people results of searches. I'm going to be working this afternoon on something for a graduate student. She's not going to be coming in. I'm going to update her references for her dissertation, and I'm going to make sure that there haven't been any new research coming out in a couple of areas that her dissertation covers since she finished her prospectus last spring. So we're just updating that for the final dissertation. So, and I do that for a lot of people. I hear from everyone from graduate students to undergraduate students to faculty to staff who are working on projects. So you should always feel free to contact me.
I heard a rumor you might be retiring. Is that a rumor?
No, it's reality.
And when?
I'm going to retire at the end of summer school. There will be somebody who will
All right,
be
so if
replacing
you need
me.
to get to Dottie,
Yeah.
get on it.
So, but I really appreciate the invitation today.
Yes, thank you for coming to talk.
Yeah. And I wish all of you all the best in finishing up this semester and or the one graduate finishing up your career.